people seem to joke around a lot about Isaiah, and look, I get he's got a weapon comp that isn't too popular. He himself is not that played, but he has a Sig that for some reason people think is really, really bad, when in fact it's the complete opposite. It's really, really good. It's this one right here. It has actually, it has a new sound. I was about to say it kind of sounds a little meek, but in the new update it got a new sound. This Sig right here is just straight up a light attack with a bow and light hitbox. You know how much bow and light hits. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, I was gonna do this whole thing about how there's I made a graph, and it was like, oh, look at the actual effective range of this move, and then I took out 3 stocks by hitting it once. So I don't know what to tell you. It's just broken. End light apparently is also just broken. Look at that. No punish, and then you can get a string out of it. You see that? It's so fast. Now, I'm gonna let you in on a little bit of a secret, okay? What move on guns is good? 45-degree angle. Why? Think about moves like Reno Nsig, okay? Diana Nsig. You don't have anything on the ground that can hit that 45-degree angle. So if someone's trying to attack you from 45 degrees, you're gonna struggle. Actually, there, if I was on the ground, I would have gotten the Nsig out. I would have punished that. But yeah, look at that 45-degree angle. It's so good. That's a little secret number 1. You want a secret number 2? Is that actually is not the only Sig on Isaiah that's just absurd. Because Isaiah, he used to have pretty bad Sigs. Other than this gun Nsig, I probably shouldn't say gun, Blaster's Nsig, his Sigs were pretty bad. Like, pretty underwhelming. But they got a series of buffs. And by series, I'm talking about a series of buffs. This one in particular used to be one of the worst Sigs in the game. It was buffed up. Maybe this one was fine, but the others were not good at all. And let me tell you about Blaster's Side Sig. Do you see that? Did you see the recovery frames? Because I didn't. And they didn't either. Now, if you think about signatures that act like light attacks and that have very similar properties, I think the hallmark one, the one that comes to mind really, is Lin Fei's, okay. Cannon Nsig. I think that's really kind of the signature in that area, and I have no problem with that. I think signatures that act like light attacks is honestly kind of cool. It adds this uniqueness to their kit. Oh, I tried to pick that up, but my jump was a bit off. And, you know, it doesn't KO until like 150. It really is basically a light attack. And yeah, it just makes playing against Lin Fei and playing as Lin Fei totally different from every other Cannon legend. The thing is with this Isaiah one is that while it looks like a light attack, it KOs like a signature. It's why it's so good, and it's a bit crazy because you can use it in neutral in your normal gameplay, like that for example. The only reason why I got punished there is because I tried to do a downlight. I didn't actually get my move punished, the Nsig punished, and then the Side Sig, you mix that one in too, and it's just rapid fire. Oh, just kidding, I have the ability to ground pound there. Now they didn't get fooled, but at the very least I still didn't get punished for throwing out a Side Sig like that. I'm not gonna get punished here. It's one of those things, like kind of like Jiro. I did not mean for that to happen. I thought I'd have more time there. That's okay. I was gonna say, like Jiro, he's one of those characters that was thought to be very underpowered relative to other characters' signature strength, and it's true, he was. And so they were like, okay, we'll buff him. The general consensus was that Isaiah should probably get some buffs. So he got some buffs, and then people still didn't really play him. And then it's like, okay, well, we'll buff some more. And then people still didn't really play him. And then they buff some more, and then people still didn't really play him. And now it's in a state where you have a couple signatures that are just absolutely ludicrous. And then the Cannon Down Sig one is also still pretty good. I meant to recovery there. That was an accident. Yeah, I mean, this Side Sig was literally one of the worst Sigs in the game. I mean, it had no force. There was really not much of a point of using it because it put you at big risk and then didn't give you much reward at all. Speaking of, I am very good at the game. I am questionably good at the game, I guess. That actually worked. I was gonna say this is gonna be super stupid. I thought it was gonna drop. That Sig is still a bit lacking, but I think I'm gonna downlight here. But yeah, I mean, his Sigs are just crazy. And it KOs. Look at that. I think a lot of the, I don't know what to call it, like discourse, propaganda about the strength of this Nsig is probably in large part due to just the way that it looks. And then also, oh, also speaking of Lin Fei, I didn't even realize I was playing against her. And also just the audio cue, which I think this new update will honestly help fix. Because again, it sounded not very strong in the past, but yeah, look at that hitbox. You can't tell me that's not a great hitbox. I think just visually, oh, I tried to catch that before it was too late. Unfortunate. It does make sense because visually it doesn't look huge. It can look a bit underwhelming, and so if you're just looking at that purely, and then you see moves like, I don't know, Ragnir Axe Nsig where it covers like half the stage. I tried to get another wall bounce and be cheeky, but instead I just dropped the KO, which is fine. I can get it here. You see what I'm saying? It's so good to have that angle on blasters. But regardless, yeah, I mean, it doesn't look huge. It's just like a line, right? And just looking at that, it can seem like that's not very powerful. But then you think about a move like Bow and Light, which is also that same line hitbox, and you don't really think of Bow and Light as a move that doesn't have range or doesn't have a good hitbox, and it's mostly due to those circles, the way that the hitboxes work. Again, I have this diagram, I'll show it again. I hope I remember to show that again. Yeah, it's just really good. I mean, even if you don't land it, the odds of you getting punished if you position properly, like there, I threatened that weapon, and really at no risk of my own life. It's one of those things that can really sneak up on you and how strong it is, because it does look underwhelming. And then you'll notice, like, you can't punish his moves, and those moves do have KO potential. It's a threat. I'm gonna side sig here, bait out something. Oh, they recovered high, unfortunately. I was hoping maybe I can get an end light trap, but regardless, hopefully I don't get dared too much. Yeah, cannon dare against blasters is one of those things that is so brutal. And then look at that. Look at that. No recovery time. No recovery time. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again. This is something that I mentioned in my crossover videos where I was like, oh, if people don't play crossovers, then the hitboxes, people are less used to it, and then at the same time, it's gonna be a little more difficult to punish because you're not used to the animation. You can't react as quickly as you would automatically otherwise. That was a bit of a mistake on my down air there, unfortunately. Looks like I got out of it okay. With Isaiah, this is even more so, because this is just straight up recovery frames. If people aren't playing Isaiah, then he's an absolute sleeper pick. Because if you're used to it, then yes, you'll know, okay, I can't punish in this position, or, oh, I can punish if I do this, if I have this movement from this angle and stuff. But if people aren't playing him, just getting used to that is so difficult. I mean, look at that. I was totally off in my read, not even close, and I still really struggle to punish it. That's why there's so many characters in Brawlhalla that are just absolute sleeper picks. I mean, Brawlhalla is a game where, just because the fundamental way it's designed, where characters have so much crossover in terms of their kits, every character will always be viable, you know? Oh, I did have jumps. I just suck. Is the real answer there. I thought it was like, oh no, I couldn't tell. I could have gotten the kill. I could have gotten the kill. I was just really bad. And I didn't get the kill there either. Please. Save me from this purgatory. Okay, I was gonna say that there's a lot of sleeper picks because knowing the intricacies of the Sig timings, the hitboxes and everything, that was a great Nsig, it's so important. Being able to maneuver around and know when you can and can't punish stuff. There's a point earlier in the game where I could have punished the J on Nsig, I think, on the sword. Had I been more ready for it, I could have gotten something there, but I didn't, alas. And now we're just in a state where I'm losing out on damage where I could have gotten more, and that's obviously not a place you want to be in. So yeah, Isaiah is one of those characters that, due to his low play rate and all of these series of buffs and these insane hitboxes, again, didn't get punished there, despite it being a terrible Nsig that I used. Yeah, he's a bit of a beast. Also, having a grounded KO option like that is pretty good on blasters with range, because downlight is really the only one that you have. Otherwise, Nsig there, didn't get it. Maybe I can get something here. Okay, I redeemed myself. I kept distracting myself, so I don't know if I even summed up the main point, but it's basically that characters with low recovery frame Sigs will get a bit of a meta buff if they're not really played that much, because their Sigs will be that much more difficult to punish and everything like that. But I think I said my piece on Isaiah. I don't want to keep this video going for too long, so that actually worked. Okay. Thankfully, weapon tosses this game after that whole misstep are going in my favor. But I think I should just do one last game as Isaiah to show off some of the stuff. Maybe use a down Sig or two that I haven't been using. This Sig, again, like I said, is pretty good. You can extend below the stage right there. I'm starting to lose the ability to speak, and so it's fitting that this is the last game. Oh, I was hoping maybe I could get like a downlight into dash and recovery there, and then get a GC Nsig off the top. That would have been a very clean KO. No jump there, unfortunately, but we'll get that one. No GC side Sig, didn't have a dodge. That's okay. Down Sig, I really have not been using that move that much. I think it is probably his weakest signature on his kit, is that one right there. And look at that. Look at that coverage. Look at that threatening. If I just held that for a second, it actually would have probably gotten the KO, but regardless, able to toss that one out. Now, in a real match, you probably don't want to do it like 4 times in a row, but regardless, this, I don't want to KO. I was going to try and KO with Nsig, and I tried to steer it out of the way, but then I tried to steer it backwards. I second-guessed myself. I should have steered it forwards. That way it would have missed. It doesn't matter.